while he was running for president in 2016 against Hillary Clinton on the issue of protection of classified information.
In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. No one will be above the law. We also need to fight this battle by collecting intelligence and then protecting our classified secrets. We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. One of the first things we must do is to enforce all classification rules and to enforce all laws relating to the handling of classified information. We also need the best protection of classified information. Service members here in North Carolina have risked their lives to acquire classified intelligence to protect our country.
It's maligning other individuals, namely Hillary Clinton, for their mishandling. That he was going to put an end to this. I'm the law and order guy. I'm going to get this done right. Watch what the Washington Post put together from 2015, 2016.
This was not just extreme carelessness with classified material, which is still totally disqualifying. This is calculated, deliberate, premeditated misconduct, followed by a cover-up that included false statements and lies to Congress, the media, and the American people. In my administration, I'm going to enforce all laws concerning the protection of classified information. We also need the best protection of classified information. That is the worst situation. Hillary's private email scandal, which put our classified information in the reach of our enemies, disqualifies her from the presidency. Service members here in North Carolina have risked their lives to acquire classified intelligence to protect our country. Hillary thought nothing of putting classified information on her illegal server, which our enemies now have hacked.
And now he finds himself under federal indictment.
Each of those statements appear tonight in the indictment against Donald Trump. Donald Trump's own public comments after leaving office about the documents prove that he did not mean anything that you just heard him say about classified information when he was running against Hillary Clinton.
Why did you take those documents with you when you left the White House?
I had every right to under the Presidential Records Act. You have the Presidential Records Act. I was there and I took what I took and it gets declassified. I took the documents I'm allowed to.
Did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were declassified
What do you mean, not really?
after. Not that I can think of. Let me just tell you, I have the absolute right to do whatever I want with them. I have the right.
Do you still have any?
We now know why Donald Trump said he could show those documents to people.
Did you ever show those classified documents to anyone?
Not really. I would have the right to. By the way, they were declassified
What do you mean, not
after.
really?
Not that I can think of.
According to the indictment, Donald Trump showed classified documents to at least two people. The first person described in the indictment, who was shown a classified document by Donald Trump, said wow, when the person saw that document. We know all of that because that conversation was actually recorded. The audio recording includes Donald Trump telling the person, this is secret information. Look at this.
Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with felony violations of our national security laws, as well as participating in a conspiracy to obstruct justice. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
When those who come into your life today with something negative about you, fuck you. Those who come in and tell you how you should run your life, tell them fuck you.
I have to interrupt you here because we have a Fox News alert. Donald Trump says on Truth Social that he's been indicted.
It's Hillary Clinton smashed a computer, got rid of emails.
President Trump is 76 years old. If the Department of Justice gets his way, he will die in federal prison. You want to talk about an insurrection? This is an insurrection. It is war on Trump. It is war on the Republican Party.
Keeping count, that's 2 impeachments, 2 indictments, and found liable of sexual assault. But MAGA, right? In the wake of the bombshell announcement that former President Trump was indicted on 38 counts, Fox News meltdown was imminent. And all the classics were rolled out. You know, we had the opening act of, well, it's just a sad, sad day for democracy.
Very, very sad day. Again, Fox News has confirmed that the former president has been indicted by Joe Biden's Justice Department, 7 counts of mishandling documents, possibly obstruction. We're hearing espionage as well. He'll be in court on Tuesday in Miami for an arraignment.
For President Trump, who has seen him up close and personal and what a heart he has for this country. Let me also say that I believe history will record today as the day that we ceased to be a democratic republic and we became a people ruled by an unelected government bureaucracy.
Followed by the, if this can happen to a twice impeached, twice indicted, pussy-grabbing billionaire, imagine what can happen to everyday Americans.
If they are allowed to do to Donald Trump what they are doing, they will do it to anyone forever going forward.
I think evangelical Christians are going to turn out in droves now to support this president. And I'm saying tonight, this is a reset. This is a reset. I think it's time for all evangelical Christians, it's time for all Republicans to get behind the candidate who has the best chance of defeating Biden and turn out in record numbers.
And of course, the ever so catchy Hunter Biden's laptop.
Compare this to Hunter Biden's case, Joe Biden's case, Vice President Pence's, and even, Hillary Clinton.
Because we now know that Hillary Clinton hired a foreign national, which is a felony, to work on a campaign, and she hid those payments to Christopher Steele through the DNC, Perkins Coie, and Fusion GPS, and she destroyed materials that were under subpoena, and that there was no FBI reaction at all.
He's trying to take out his political opponents using the executive branch. That's what this is.
Look at the shiny ball. That's what this is. Look at the shiny ball. Don't look over at what we're doing. Don't look at what Hillary did with her computer. Don't look at Clinton and his drawer. Don't look at where we're storing things. Don't look at the fact that Biden has documents in Chinatown or that his son has a drug addiction and also got bribes. Don't look at any of that.
This is not what we do in our country. We have elections. Allow the election to take place. But Mitch McConnell, this is your moment, my friend.
It should be devastating. But of course, they've just brought out this shiny object to make all of the media look over there. So you're not going to see anything about the Biden bribery stories in the New York Times or the Washington Post. All you're going to hear about is Trump, Trump, Trump.
Then we pivoted to a more positive, upbeat track of he can run on pardoning himself.
Trump could run on pardoning himself.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
You know, for people that feel that this is bias, that this is part of a pattern, he could turn this on his opponents and actually run on his right to pardon himself. So if he's elected, even if he's convicted, he could pardon himself, or he can do so before a trial occurs.
Yeah, the good old pocket pardon.
Right, because if the current strategy of running on denial and that you still won the 2020 election wasn't strong enough, then I'm sure elect me so I don't go to jail will go down a treat. But here's the thing, it wasn't just the usual suspects at Fox who were bending themselves into a pretzel to avoid admitting how bad it is. Many members of the GOP did too, and engaged in the same whataboutism.
That this judgment is wrong by this DOJ, that they treated President Trump differently than they treat others, and it didn't have to be this way. This is going to disrupt this nation because it goes to the core of equal justice for all, which is not being seen today, and we are not going to stand for it.
It's no coincidence that yesterday, when we walk out of a skiff in the Capitol and bring out the most damning, credible evidence against Joe Biden, impeachable offenses, and I'll argue this, he should have been hauled out of the White House yesterday in handcuffs.
But across the board, What seems to have been missed is something that Jack Smith himself outlined to process. Because if the meltdowns are anything to go by, they're already asserting guilt.
No, it is an extremely damning indictment. There are indictments that are sometimes called narrative or speaking indictments. These are indictments that are really meant to make a point as to the depth of the evidence. There are some indictments that are just bare bones. This is not. The special counsel knew that there would be a lot of people who were going to allege that the Department of Justice was acting in a biased or politically motivated way. This is clearly an indictment that was drafted to answer those questions. It's overwhelming in detail.
Their fear is telling as these images of boxes everywhere.
That's the bathroom. That's another example. That's another example of what we're talking about. But on this specific part of the indictment, these documents that are only supposed to be seen with those countries that the United States relies on for intelligence, the most important intelligence that deals with not just national security for the United States, but for the United States' allies. And so this is not just an issue for within the borders. There it is. That's the photo that this part of the indictment is referring to. So it's not just the intelligence and national security of the United States. You have allies around the world looking at these photos, looking at this indictment and saying, this is putting our...
From ballrooms to bathrooms, storage to bedrooms, I mean, what did this man think was going to happen?
10. They describe how Walt Nauta was one of the people who helped him pack up his boxes. The boxes went from the White House. They contained classified information to the Mar-A-Lago club. But they say from January through March 15, 2021, some of those boxes were stored in the Mar-A-Lago club's white and gold ballroom. They have a picture of it. So class boxes with classified documents in a ballroom where they, quote, had events and gatherings taking place. They were for a time stacked on the ballroom stage as depicted in this photograph, and they obscure the person's identity. They appear to have taken a picture with these boxes. I mean, that is a stunning detail that our classified secrets were in a ballroom in Southern Florida.
And let's be real for a second. The fact that he felt he could just have all these boxes lying around freely without impunity is telling of the very privileged bubble that surrounds him. Of course, he thought he could do what he wanted with documents, give the feds a runaround, and emerge unscathed. This man's entire life has been an example of how the law is redlined for the wealthy, who more often than not get away with it.
The president goes on to say, well, what happens if we just don't respond at all to the subpoena, I guess, or don't play ball with them? The president goes on to say, wouldn't it be better if we just told them we don't have anything here? Well, look, isn't it better if there are no documents? They've got these conversations that were memorialized by the president's attorneys. There's also this recording of him where he talks about this plan that's believed an attack plan against Iran. I mean, they've got a lot of information in this.
When he became president, he put himself into a different category, one with added scrutiny.
The men and women of the United States intelligence community and our armed forces dedicate their lives to protecting our nation and its people. Our laws that protect national defense information are critical to the safety and security of the United States, and they must be enforced. Violations of those laws put our country at risk. Adherence to the rule of law is a bedrock principle of the Department of Justice, and our nation's commitment to the rule of law sets an example for the world. We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone. Applying those laws, collecting facts, that's what determines the outcome of an investigation. Nothing more and nothing less.
So really, he did this to himself.
When those who come into your life today with something negative about you, fuck you. Those who come in and tell you how you should run your life, tell them, fuck you. Those of you who have nothing at all good to say about you.
And now, for the first time, we are learning the details of the charges that were brought against the former president, all related to his handling of classified documents after leaving office. There are actually 38 counts against the president, including the unlawful retention of defense information, which is an Espionage Act charge. There are also charges of obstruction and conspiracy.
And what we've seen over the last several years is the weaponization of the Department of Justice against the former president. I would purge all of the injustices and impurities in our system.
The DOJ and FBI have been weaponized. I will have folks that will get together and look at all these cases who people are victims of weaponization or political targeting, and we will be aggressive at issuing pardons.
If Donald Trump is convicted of a crime and you're elected president, would you pardon him?
Well, I don't want to speak about hypotheticals.
I will pardon not just President Trump, but every victim of a politically motivated prosecution.
All sorts of stuff, pages long. Look, wait a minute, let's see here. I just found, isn't this amazing? This totally wins my case, except it is like highly confidential, secret. This is secret information. Look at this.
Donald Trump indicted again, this time for violating the Espionage Act, one of the worst crimes imaginable. But he joins a select list of Americans also indicted for this crime. Robert Hansen, Aldrich Ames, Anna Montez, John Walker, Ronald William Pelton, all indicted for violating the Espionage Act with the prison terms that traitors and spies against America deserve. And what will Trump get? The men and women running against him for president will defend him, praise him, make excuses. They'll lie about the prosecution and make up stories about the deep state to rile up the MAGA base. There's no excuse for espionage. No defense for stealing America's secrets or sharing them with anyone, ever. Trump did this to himself. He took the documents, he shared them, and conspired to cover it up. Patriots know people who commit this crime belong in prison, not the White House.
Today is a national holiday. It's called Fuck You Friday. And in observance of this holiday, when those who come into your life today with something negative about you, fuck you. Those who come in and tell you how you should run your life, tell them, fuck you. Those of you who have nothing at all good to say about you, they're always trying to bring you down. They always see how you should run your life. Tell them, fuck you. The only thing that should matter today is the things that make you happy, the things that you want to do, the things that you're striving for, the goals that you have. Anything else that comes your way that is not what you want, tell the motherfucker, fuck you. And for those of you who say that the cussing pastor should not cuss, fuck you too. This is your morning message from the cussing pastor.